The comfort zone doesn't exist. It's a myth. Now, I know those are bold statements, but think about it. Can you point to a comfort zone? Can you show me the boundary of your comfort zone that we're meant to step out of because it's got too comfortable? The concept of a comfort zone creates unnecessary pressure and an imagined boundary and teaches you to push and strive. I know what it's like to live a restricted life, one where there are mountains to climb in your mind and boundaries that you can and can't cross. And I know what that's like for others too. My dad was a kind, gentle man, and I was 25 when he died. He took his life. And afterwards, I discovered that his mum had taken her life before I was born. I'm not going to go into their stories now, but it's fair to say that he led quite a restricted life in the last few years, and that I can only imagine the comfort zone that he perceived he had, that he felt he could or couldn't do, or who he should or shouldn't be. I'm more peaceful now about my dad, and I'm finding an easier way. Maybe, perhaps, when I was pushing, I was trying to escape the feelings I didn't know it was okay to feel. My instructor and I were standing in the open doorway of the plane and we were strapped together. There was a wonderful vista of expanse of sky. He said jump, and my feet weren't going anywhere. He said jump, and my feet got stuck to the plane's floor. And the next thing I knew, he'd jumped and we were diving through the air at 100 miles an hour, which was about the speed that nausea was travelling up my body. I was waiting for the beautiful view of the countryside. Well, let's just say it was a rather windy day that day. And I had a rather different kind of view than I'd expected. Why was I even doing it? A skydive. I don't like heights, and I'm not that keen at being in a plane. I had taken on the message that you need to step out of your comfort zone, that you need to push out of your comfort zone with such seriousness and great conscientiousness that it was as if you do a hero's journey to the promised land, slay a few dragons, fight a few battles, and then you're worthy of happiness, deserving even because of all that effort. That doesn't seem the most sustainable way of living. That doesn't sound the best strategy for to look outside yourself in what you have and what you do to feel good. I also saw that I was chasing the experience I'd heard the skydivers had, the sense of freedom, the silence within when you jump out of the plane. Oh, and the beautiful view. When I stopped seeking and searching, I had more of the freedom I was looking for. When you stop battling and fighting, you feel good. And isn't that what you want? More peace, more fulfillment, more clear seeing, more contentment. Listen and trust the deep knowing inside. When I heard about this TEDx event, I knew with certainty I wanted to apply, which is funny really, because you could say it's a huge leap out of my comfort zone, if I had a comfort zone to leap out of, but it's never felt like I'm stepping out of a comfort zone. Although, to be honest, it's not been plain sailing. But It's felt more like exploring, experimenting, expansion. And isn't that a more enjoyable way of living? Nature shows us the way. She takes a seed and gives it roots. And a rose seed becomes a rose. A cactus seed becomes a cactus. They don't try to become each other. They don't try to follow each other's paths. They grow gradually, in their own time, towards the light, with the right circumstances. And that's the same for us. Unfortunately, some of us lose our way sometimes. But it makes sense, doesn't it? That we're here to do well. It makes sense, doesn't it? That we're here to flourish, to thrive, to blossom. You can keep the concept of the comfort zone or any other concept or belief if you want it or don't want it. You can skydive or not skydive. It's about what works for you, what creates nourishment and expansion. We each have a different way to grow. I've discovered that you don't need to push through an imagined comfort zone, and that when you see that, there's peace, there's even joy, there's love, and we each blossom naturally. As that happens, we have happier children and happier adults, and they contribute and create and collaborate for a better world together. Thank you.